Caesar's Hour was broadcast every Saturday night, and on Saturday afternoon we would assemble at the theater. We'd watch rehearsals. Uh, we watched a run through with an invited audience, not a full house, and then we'd give Sid our notes, and uh, the writers would assemble in Sid's dressing room. I was elected to give him his notes, a dubious honor, I can tell you. Sid, worked really like a an animal, so hard. This was live, remember, in these days. We didn't rely on tape or film. And to go in there at that time and say, on page 37, why don't you cut from when you come to the door, go right to the seat, don't do the joke at the window. I mean, massive things. And can you accent this word in that joke? And can you not do that? And can you do this? And, uh, but he was a soldier. I mean, he would take your notes. Some he would disagree with, but he didn't hire us to go along with everything he did. He hired us to make him better. And then the show itself would go on. Sometimes we'd stay for the show. Sometimes we'd watch it at home with friends. And then invariably we would assemble at a restaurant in New York called Danny's Hideaway after the program went off the air. And it was really a Caesarean kind of celebration. I mean, Sid was very expansive and the meals were very expensive, prodigious appetites for food and drink, and we really had a bacchanalian time. And then Sunday we just collapse with our families, and Monday we'd say, now what do we do? Having to prepare a show to be ready for the following Saturday, which had to be finished being written by Wednesday. When I first went to work for Sid, he didn't say a word to me for 2 weeks, and I was very surprised because I had a certain amount of self-confidence, having worked a number of years before I got to Caesar's Hour. But he never said boo, which is just as well because it could be frightening if he said that. And Sid's the kind of man, as I said, sat every day in the room with the writers. So every day for 2 weeks he said nothing to me. But then after the first show, as we said goodnight on the sidewalk outside Danny's Hideaway, we were waiting for his car to come up by, and he turned to me, bent me over backwards, and gave me a kiss on the lips that I still remember. So it's not that he wasn't unappreciative; it was just inarticulate. But it was a wonderful relationship, absolutely wonderful. I mean, there are very few people in this business that I worked with that I wouldn't work with again, and who wouldn't, I think, do the same with me. Sid is a piece of work. I remember seeing Sid Caesar when I was a kid in a movie called Tarzan Spars, and in that he did his famous airplane movie routine, which he had done live as a member of the Coast Guard. And I thought about him the way I think about Robin Williams when I say it was almost like extraplanetary. He was just so gifted and stayed so gifted for years and years and years. I think the tragedy in Sid's life, if there is a tragedy, and maybe I shouldn't use that word, but I think Sid's career was so front-loaded. So much happened to him that was so good early on. I wish it had been spread out over the years so that he could have entertained yet another generation.